Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Morning Markets from True Potential. Before going into asset markets and how they've performed over the past week and what we can expect this week, thank you to those that have subscribed on the YouTube channel. For those that haven't, please go along to True Potential's YouTube channel and hit subscribe. You'll get morning markets and all of the other excellent content that True Potential produces straight into your YouTube feed. So just looking at asset markets towards the end of last week, disappointing end to the week from an equity market perspective where we saw weakness in equity markets. Nothing really new of substance there, but just the ongoing debate, the ongoing discussion as it relates to interest rates, inflation, and the speed of interest rate changes that we're likely to see over coming weeks. Also, we're in the middle of reporting season, and we did see some company reports last week where they did have outsized impacts on the share price. Paul discussed that last week as well. Looking to the week ahead, we've got a lot of companies reporting, and indeed we've got all of the major technology companies reporting at some point during this week. So certainly that will give an indication on the health of those businesses, but also I think more importantly, what they're discussing about the outlook and how they see their businesses performing in the months and into the quarters ahead. Last week, a number of companies started to allude to and indeed mention the impact of rising costs, but also rising labour costs being an impact on their businesses and potentially eroding some of their earnings growth going forward. So a number of trends that we'll be looking out for and we'll be discussing as we go through the week ahead. Also on Friday, Chris discussed the UK retail sales activity, and that did have a real strong flow through into currency markets on Friday, with sterling down around 1.5% on the day, back to the 128 against the dollar, levels that we haven't seen for a couple of years as consumer confidence has been impacted by rising costs. So that's certainly having an impact in currency markets. I think this morning, just looking at what we've been able to observe in markets, we've had the French presidential election. That's completed. Emmanuel Macron assumes for another term, and that removes a level of uncertainty. And we did see the euro initially rally on that. It's come back a little bit. That's primarily, I think, due to just the performance of markets in Asia as well, where we've seen equity markets in general a little bit weaker. A large part of that seems to be due to what we're hearing from China, increasing COVID cases, maybe stricter lockdowns coming through. And as we've discussed over recent weeks, that's observable in Chinese economic activity, and certainly further lockdowns would exacerbate the challenges that we're seeing from an economic growth perspective. I think other things that we'll be looking out for this week, we'll have personal consumption expenditure data from the US, which is important because that includes an inflationary measure, which we believe is probably the one focus for the Federal Reserve. And then in Europe, we start to get a first indication of first quarter GDP numbers for a number of countries. Again, coming off the back of a relatively good fourth quarter of last year, but given the problems and the challenges that we've seen, it'd be interesting just to observe how GDP growth plays out for the first quarter. I'll leave it there for today, but please do join us again tomorrow. And as I said at the beginning, just click on the subscribe button to get all of True Potential's content. Many thanks.
Subscribing to the True Potential YouTube channel is quick and easy. Simply go to the channel on your desktop or through the YouTube app on your phone and click the subscribe button. You can then press the notification bell symbol if you wish to be notified as and when new videos are released. Doing this is a great way to keep yourself updated with market developments and personal finance insights. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and we look forward to continuing to help you do more with your money.